Stream is up in 5, 4, 3, 2. And we're live, coming to you from an undisclosed location somewhere in Northeast Ohio. I'm Josh McClay, aka O'Malley of O'Malley's Adventure. That's Greg, Characters of Greg, and this is Omally Live. I want to thank everybody for joining, whether you're watching live or in post. The number to contact the show is 330-809-1924, or you can email us at o'malleys.adventure@yahoo.com. So how you doing, my friend?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
It's been a while.
It's been a few months,
It has.
but we made it happen. Greg does character drawings for different types of events. My wedding in particular, most people will remember the line that was back there.
Yeah.
But before we get into that, let's talk about who you are, what you do, and how you got started. A little background.
Well, I've always liked to draw. And I ended up going to Pittsburgh Art Institute, where I had a I studied visual communications with a minor in cartooning. Um, I think I kind of I was when I first started, I was kind of doing a lot of realistic and a little bit of cartoon work, and I was my senior year. My art teacher asked me if I wanted a job,
Yeah.
and Big Lots used to have the hanging ads
Yeah.
in the windows and stuff like that. And I went over and did a little mock interview, and they hired me. Most Big Lots stores actually had just any employee that kind of liked to draw a little bit, and
Right.
then they hand draw all the ads. And this was the only one that I knew of. This is in Dover, Ohio, that actually sought out, and they just wanted like a high school artist, so they didn't still be minimum wage.
So,
Yeah, just minimum requirements, but it was a good effort, I guess.
yeah.
Um, but I was drawing probably about 4 to 8 hours a week, something like that.
Yeah.
Lots of fun though, but it started out and it was just these big felt markers.
Right.
They're really heavy solvent. I mean, you just walk in, you're just
Right.
and the whole set was like from the 1970s. Just this, you just pour out this big glass bottle, ink into the felt things, and
Oh, wow.
go to town. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. They ended up sending me to Columbus to do a lot of stuff for headquarters and other stores for grand openings and stuff like that. And for 18, 19,
Right.
that was felt like a pretty big deal.
Yeah. He was big time.
So
Right.
I think that really, by using the markers and the finality, like you don't really have too much. You got to go straight into it,
Right,
not a
right.
whole lot of planning. That really pushed me into the cartoon type of thing. Speed was kind of important,
Sure.
but yeah, it was a
So,
lots of fun.
so at what point did you realize that, something in art was going to be your calling? Was it all through school or
All
was it?
through, yeah, my whole life. I've always liked to draw. Usually, middle school people stop drawing,
Right.
and I don't know if I felt a little bit better than a little more advanced, a little more talented with the art.
Sure.
But I just kept drawing. I mean, that was really the big thing. I tried
Sure.
to take as many art classes as I could, drawing in every class. I'm supposed to be studying and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Um, so, you've always been on your own. You've never worked for a firm. You've always been more of a
When I
self-employed.
I worked at a t-shirt shop, and I was kind of like the sign department. But I did a lot of graphic design then. But as
Right.
far as caricature stuff, no, never. I've always been on my own with that. And it's that's a good and bad thing, because you're not like a lot of the amusement parks. They're formally trained.
Right.
They have a whole style. You can only use this marker. This is your style.
Really?
And it's very, yeah.
So what's the thought process there? Why do they have it like
They
a,
want it. Well, I'm not exactly sure. I've talked to a few other people that have been through that, and they can fake it, I guess, pretty quick to get them out into the field making money.
Oh,
So they can actually, here's kind of the style we use, even if it doesn't look exactly like them
right.
at all. Here's how you draw a nose, any nose.
Right.
So a
Sure.
lot of the caricaturists, they just, they this week they're doing caricatures.
Right.
Next week they're running the tilt-a-whirl.
Oh,
They kind
wow.
of move them around a little bit
Sure.
sometimes. Now there's other amusement parks that don't. You're a caricaturist
Right.
through and through, but sometimes they move. You can really be doing anything.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's weird.
That
So
would be well, especially if you really liked it and you were talented,
Right.
And they moved you away from it. It'd be kind of.
right.
So,
So
is this your full-time gig now? Is your
no, I own a sign company.
okay?
And the caricature work is weekend, usually nights,
Right.
But I do about 20 weddings a year,
Right.
and then I do about 15 Christmas parties just in
Right.
December.
Wow.
That is
That's what right.
yeah, that's a booked schedule. That's I think last year we did 2 years ago we did a job. I brought my kids with me,
Right.
and we ended up doing 3 jobs in one day.
Oh
And
wow.
that was brutal.
That,
But
that's carpal tunnel.
yeah. So
Wow. So are you the only one? Are you part of a group of people that do this, or is it just you that does
just
the
me.
drawing?
Yeah. Now I've brought my kids with me. This is something that's been. I, my kids are both. They have some art interest,
Right.
and they're both pretty good, you know.
Right.
And they're 12 and 14. I think we started. Maybe they were 10 and 12 or 11 and 13 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to bring them with
Right.
me to do a few jobs.
Right.
And I was trying to think, how could I get them part of this,
Right.
you know? And so we ended up doing is I would do the marker. We'd have 2 or 3 boards, and I would do the marker, and then we'd switch out, and then the kids would follow in with this gray.
Right.
And we did a lot of nights just training about how to follow the shadow work of the lines and stuff like
Right.
that. And they both got it down because it's you're always doing the same thing: shadow underneath the nose, shadow around the face, the hair you can wisp out,
Sure.
color of the eyes. Women's usually go dark with the lips.
Right.
But yeah, and it's
And,
since
and both of them are
both of them. Yeah, it's a proud daddy moment because it was the first one we did was actually a wedding pretty close to our house, and I ended up bringing both kids with me.
yeah.
And I wanted both of them there because they're just like, don't worry about time. You guys can take your time on this. I'm going to be going, 2-3 minutes per person, and by having both of them there, they could kind of take their time each on the grid.
Right.
So I was able to, one point, able to get back and actually take a picture of both kids drawn, and
Sure.
oh,
Sure.
it was so much fun.
That
That's Ben and Kate.
yeah.
So shout out.
So um let's look at some
Yeah,
of
sure.
the
I think there's one with Caitlin in there
I think
recently.
I was gonna say I think let's do this. Um
That's Caitlin.
yeah. So um when you do the Christmas parties, are those about the same length of time as far as weddings, or do you,
Yeah, a lot. Some of them are turning into. Usually, I have a 2-hour minimum.
yeah.
That was a fun one. That's
Wow.
that was a fake one. Just I drew that quickly just because they were.
That's pretty good
Yeah,
though.
it was like Jolly Green Giant,
Right.
but I ended up drawing a regular one for him.
Um,
A lot of times, if I'm doing jobs by myself, I'm just doing the black and white only.
yeah.
But that one we had some time. That was a Karcher group, where I could do the marker and the gray stuff too.
So you do the flyers as well.
Yeah,
The
yeah, I do a lot of marketing for this.
right.
Do about 5 or 6 bridal shows a year, and then I send out mailers to businesses to
Right.
advertise and a lot of them are like, we've never heard of anything like this. This is a really neat idea for,
Sure.
it's a gift for all the employees, and it's kind of the same thing with weddings. It's a wedding favor
Sure.
for
I was
for
going
the for the guests.
anybody that went to mine that had it done, more than happy with the
Yeah,
and what kind of caught
that
me
was
out.
from yours right
Yeah,
there.
yeah. I can't think, man. I'm terrible with names. I can't remember their names.
Oh, that's we'll
Whoop.
talk about that. That's zombie caricatures. Those are
Yeah.
kind of fun too. That's something I just recently tried doing.
Yeah.
They take so long, but they're cute. I did this actually at a brewery in New
Ooh.
Philly.
I think there's 3 of them there. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was Halloween, and I'm just busking, going around
Sure.
drawing for tips and stuff like that. But it's kind of a weird thing. Like I did a lot of practice, and I just sit down like, how do you want to be dead?
How do you?
And
Right.
so there was like the one back there strangled with a mouse cord pencil. I think somebody wanted death by alcohol, so I ended up having a broken beer bottle
Oh,
in their
check that out.
forehead.
Yeah.
Those are unique,
Wow.
but they're
Yeah.
goofy.
Um, so on a normal evening, say for a wedding, how many do you draw?
Um, Usually couples I can draw quicker. Usually, I'm still drawing two caricatures, but the amount of time for people to get up and get down, and
Sure.
that eats into some time right there. But um, 20 to 30, depending on how, I can kind of speed up or slow down depending on how busy it is. And
Sure.
I usually try to shoot for 20 an hour just because they turn out a little bit better than trying to do every 30 per hour. So,
Hmm. So, what type of rates do you have? You say it's a 2 hour
yeah,
minimum.
2 hour minimum. I charge 100 per hour. 2 hour minimum. Something I recently started pushing is a 4 hour discount for 350.
Okay.
And with that, you also get, I think back there a few pages back, it was a signing frame.
Uh-huh.
And with the signing frame,
Oh,
you've got a,
like this.
um, oh, you got it, right?
This.
Yup.
This is. That's the one from our wedding.
That was a little different. That was your whole
That,
bridal
that
party.
the
But
whole. Yeah.
normally we just draw the bride and groom. I get there and then I try to draw the bride and groom within the first half hour or hour, and then I bring the frame out, and then we go make an announcement to the DJ, and then all your guests sign it. It's
Right.
a
Right.
guest book that you can kind of hang on the wall.
Yeah.
So
I
it's
was gonna
kind
say
of
that
unique.
that one has a permanent spot. That
Yeah.
that one. It's pretty. Um, so, um, what are your I'm drawing a blank. So the weekends for sure.
hmm
Monday through Friday. Is there?
Really, yeah, I do a lot of just events for churches and birthday parties and stuff like that.
Right.
And but once um, company Christmas parties are sometimes during the day. That's why I can really fill up December. They're during the day, they're uh, week, night, weekend,
Right.
weekend day. Really any
Sure.
day, and that's how I can get so many. I I'm only one person, so
Right.
there's other caricaturists that I know that I can refer,
Right.
but I try to get as many as I can.
Sure.
Eh, but I have to turn people down sometimes. Just like
Right.
October 19th this year, I think I've had 6 people ask about that date. It's Sweetest Day,
Right.
so everybody wants to get married on October 19th. So don't do
Don't do that. Right. Well, it's a funny story about the dates. When uh, when we picked October 27th,
Yeah,
one of the main reasons we picked it was Ohio State had a bye week.
right.
And I don't really follow football that much anymore, even being from Massillon.
Yeah.
That's a Massillon-McKinley game.
Oh,
So there was TVs and people updating.
yes, I remember that.
During
Yep. I heard a lot of phones going.
right.
Yeah.
So yeah, the date is important. Um, full disclosure here, he is going to do the next logo for my show.
Right.
It will potentially be on some merch if I ever get around to getting my store and
Yeah.
everything in order.
So
Um,
should I start right now?
But do you, as far as logos and things like that,
Yeah.
is
So
it,
I'll plug my day business as I do sign and design work.
Mhm.
And that's gsworks.com, gsworx.com. And I do signage, a lot of mall storefront signage, vehicle wraps.
you do vehicle wraps
Yeah,
too?
yeah. We just finished up 3 or 4 wrapped some trailers for air gas,
Really?
like the full semi trailer itself.
Right.
We did those all in January.
So what? How you do it, and then they take a
Well,
computer and
the air gas job is it's all supplied to us. There's a company out in Utah, I think, that um, sends us all the graphics and the layout, and they just found a company in the area that is close to the place that actually does the refurb of the old trailers and stuff like that. And then
Huh.
they redo the trailers, and then um, we actually go there and actually do the wrap on the trailer. About a day and a half. We're getting pretty quick at it.
Wow.
So I've got
Start to finish. It's
I've got a guy that works for me, and we he's gotten to the point where I will do the main wrap, and then he'll handle all of the front and the back of any of the small graphics and stuff like that. And it's kind of nice to be able to just be like,
wow.
go ahead and do it. He's just going off the
Off the cuff.
yeah.
Huh.
Brent, thank you very much.
So, is there anybody out there that you've done their logo for? That's
Lots. I'm not too much up this area. I do a lot of work in Dover, Philly area.
yeah.
A lot of mall stuff. A lot of people come to me with nothing.
Right.
And it's like if somebody told me that they decided to open up a store yesterday, I would not be surprised. Some of these people come completely unprepared,
Right.
and they want to sign in a week, and they don't have anything. So it's kind of a rush to get
Right.
something that looks presentable, that looks like it's pretty good, but
Right.
done pretty quickly. But the logo process is pretty fun. That's, if you want to bring up my page, it's gsworks.com. Or go to the Facebook page, actually. That might be better.
Facebook.
And then,
We're at on the.
okay, you want to do the search for GSW, the Facebook looks, or we should have this brought up. That's my fault.
Is this
That's yep, you can actually just go, all the way to the top,
all the way at the top?
and then signs, design, vehicles.
Do you want which one?
It doesn't matter.
Vehicles.
Yep.
Oh wow.
So that's actually the Shops logo. That's kind of something that was probably one of
this one here,
the left.
over here,
Correct.
and you designed all that.
Yeah, that was a fun one. That was it's a local company. I've known the family for a while, and they wanted to kind of update everything. So that started out as just a really rough sketch, and
Now, are the wraps all one piece?
that's considered a partial wrap, but that there's not a lot of coverage there. But the van's white, so anything that's white is the van, but everything else is the guy.
Huh.
So those are fun, to be able to. Where I live, there's not a lot of marketing, what
Sure.
I mean, like that. So I got to be pretty broad. I do the illustration and the logo design, sign design, and then the vehicle wraps. I've done a few book illustrations too, but that's about 6 of those, mainly just spot illustrations and
Yeah.
stuff. Those are kind of neat to be able to see your work on Amazon.
I was going to say, so just on the business side, if you do something for a book like that, how do they pay that out? Do they just is that like per copy, or as far as royalties?
It's just the person who designed the project, their book. They
Okay.
came to me about it. And these are there's no royalties. It was just a flat rate for
Right.
stuff like that. But
Huh.
they're fun. Some of them were, it was not a whole lot of copies, but there was a couple that were just somebody just wanted their own little book,
Right,
So
right.
really never made it to publishing. So
Hmm.
so we're drawing you.
Okay. So, the one of the frequent flyers on my show has been very adamant that I need merch, and I think for now I'm just going to do like coffee cups and possibly some T-shirts
Right.
and whatnot. You don't really have to have inventory or stuff like that now. They've got, I think it's called Spread Shop is one, and they'll do like cups and T-shirts, and you just basically give them your logo,
Right.
and when people order, they do. But
Cafe Press used to be something kind of like that.
what's that?
Cafe Press?
Yeah,
I think?
yeah, that's another. I think so. I don't know if they're they're still around, but I do seem to remember someone pointing me that direction because um, the with a brand, I've noticed that something visual
Mm-hmm.
works really well.
Yep.
And in the other studio, I have a real fallout shelter sign. A friend of mine got it. Well, most of the Cold War stuff, the fallout
Yeah.
shelter sign, the
Right.
impeach Nixon, stuff like that. He's the one that supplied it. And I was looking at using that fallout shelter symbol as a logo.
Okay.
Apparently, Uncle Sam doesn't like that idea.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
You get a cease and
because
desist?
well, no, I didn't get that far. It is a copyrighted or trademarked. I can't remember which
Oh,
one.
wow.
Yeah, it says not to be used for.
Logo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But I,
But-
bands maybe.
what's
I've
that?
seen a lot of bands do stuff like that.
Yeah,
Using the.
but so and I kind of fell flat on ideas as far as
Right.
a logo.
Yep.
And then a friend of mine that I work with, he was like, well, what about the caricature guy? And I just happened to look at your Facebook page, and I was like, well, heck, that's what he did.
Yep.
So,
That's hard to do. Drawing yourself, drawing your family, drawing people that you know really well.
yeah,
I think that's the hardest to draw. Because you just know them. Like I try to draw my kids and just like, I don't know.
right.
It's just rough.
Yeah,
You just know them too well.
I've dabbled in art. I can oil paint a little bit, but it's one of those things where I really have to be in the mood.
Yeah.
So I do it maybe, no lie, maybe once every 6 or 7 years.
Okay.
But it's odd. Some people that are really good at it and passionate, it's almost like they can't do it enough.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's some people that are kind of like me, but like when I'm into it, I'm all in.
Right.
But it lasts for maybe 3 or 4 days,
Yeah.
and it comes and goes like the wind. It's as soon as it comes, it's gone. But no, I think there's a lot of truth to that drawing because doing portrait sketches. I mean, if I see a picture, reproducing it
Mm-hmm.
is fairly easy.
Yeah.
But to know somebody and just off the top of your head draw 'em
Yeah.
without anything, yeah, that's well past my my doing. So
this is right now. This is just the black and white.
outstanding.
So then I'm
I
gonna
like
go in
that.
with the with your gray, and this just adds a lot of depth to it.
Yeah. So a little bit on the utensils you're using there. Those aren't like standard markers or whatnot. Those
Right. These are a brush tip marker, and that's something else too. What we talked about with the amusement parks is they kind of have their own standard marker that everybody uses, and I really tried it. I think well, I started into the wedding stuff like 6 years ago, and somebody booked me for a wedding, and at the time I really wasn't doing a whole lot. I've been doing caricatures for about 20 years,
right.
and I really wasn't doing a whole lot of I do proms,
Mhm.
and then I do one festival, and then a few company Christmas parties, not a
Right.
whole lot. And then I started, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago, I started pushing the company Christmas parties a lot more. And then somebody booked me for a wedding. At the time, that's when photo booths started to become a little bit popular.
Right.
And I had never heard of a caricaturist drawing at a wedding reception. So I'm like, are you sure? This seems so... She was, yeah, this is exactly what I want. So at the time I was charging 100 and she booked me for 5 hours, and just like, it was so much fun because proms are the worst. They
Really?
are the worst. Yeah. So I was kind of like, I didn't know what to expect.
So what's the deal?
So, okay, you're at a prom and you've got a line of kids that are at their prom waiting in line to get drawn. And the line is, I kid you not, 50 foot, 100 foot long.
Right.
and I'm just going as fast as I can, and I'm only there for 3 hours,
Gotcha.
and I am mentally, physically, I am peaked out, you
Right.
know,
Right.
and
Right.
I'm just going as fast as I can, and they look like garbage. It is the worst. Like usually 2, 3 minutes, 4 minutes sometimes, but when I'm drawing proms, it's like they're under a minute per caricature, and it's
Right.
just like,
You're flying through them.
yeah, and I just, I hate doing it, and it's just, I think I've decided from here on out, you book me for a prom, I'm going to just take my time and make sure everybody gets. I'm not going to draw everybody, but
Right.
there, I'll be able to sleep at night, I guess. I
Well,
just,
when you first got there to the wedding, I seen that paddle that said that there's
yes,
a last, and I'm thinking, and even then, you know, when we decided to have someone do the drawings, I was like, yeah, that'd be cool. And then the reception started, and I looked back, and there was a few people, and then there was a few more, and then there was a few more,
yeah,
and then there was a lot.
yeah.
And I was like, oh,
Everybody waits till the end.
right.
Yeah.
And then-
So I either have to do a hard cutoff, and that's why we get the paddle out,
right,
and it's a paddle that says, "Sorry, I'm the last one to be drawn."
right.
So everybody, the last person in line, has to do the dirty work and actually like, you know,
Yeah, that's it.
and or I can check. You know, it depends on the bride and groom, or just be like, well, just keep drawing until everybody is done. You know,
Right.
then we just work off of a prorated rate.
Yeah,
Um, but it's always, you know, you see people come up and like, I'm closing up. You know, I was done 10 minutes
Let's
ago,
go.
and I stayed over
right,
to
sure.
finish these people up. But it's people are upset. But you know, I was there for 15 minutes waiting, and nobody was there.
Nobody, right,
Yeah, everybody gets some alcohol in them, and then they get brave and
right. I was gonna, you know what?
Yeah.
I think
yeah.
that's
You
what
had some alcohol at your wedding.
there,
Quite a bit. I think there was a
there was people there that, because me personally, and what's cool, I don't drink anymore,
yeah,
but everybody around you is,
yeah.
and I'm in my head, I'm thinking, man, I hope you remember that to come tomorrow, man. You know, because
Yeah.
somebody's gonna remember, not just
Yeah,
me.
right. I think there was a few that came over and just like, whooey,
Yeah.
jeez, ow,
Yeah,
that was pretty rough.
yeah. That, so,
But
um, anyway, there will be a version of this on Anchor FM. It's full audio. I don't know. This does tend to be a little bit more of a visual type show, but I think we're starting to make some pretty cool progress there. With
and I also, while I'm thinking about it, I would also like to thank my wife for allowing me to do this as much as I can, because I'm eating into weekends like crazy, and it's, you know, she's getting a little bit upset
well,
sometimes.
you know, I was gonna say anytime you have a side gig,
Yeah.
there is a give and take there,
Yep.
and
So really, it's just, you know, we have to try to schedule out a full year, and you know, even when I get calls, I got to make sure that everything's good to go. But
right.
it's wearing thin sometimes.
Well, even at a sort of a smaller capacity with
Yep.
doing this.
Right.
Last year, June 1st, I said I'm going to go live once a day, every day for 365 days.
Yeah.
And at first, it seemed like a fantastic idea. And then I got, I don't know, right before Christmas, and I'm thinking, okay, maybe that wasn't a good idea. But I'm starting to pick up a second wind, and
Yeah.
with her work, she tends to be very busy. So
Right.
check it out. There it is.
You can see that too. Hopefully.
Yeah. I think that's it. I think that's going to be. So, Ed, if you're still watching, brother, that one's for you, because I told him, I said when I do get merch, I'm gonna give him the first coffee cup. So, but no, he's the when he's on, he is either the guy asking the very pointed question, or he's the show jester.
Yep.
There's no in between. So, Again, check out his Facebook page, Characters by Greg, or you can check him out at the gsworks.com. Do you have anything else?
I think that's it.
I think that is a wrap. We have a logo now, and life is good. Until next time, stay sharp, keep a tight shot, group, and rock on.